Good evening, race fans, and welcome back for another week of action here with the Most Wanted Racing Association. I'm Darren Detwell, and I'll be bringing you the calls tonight here on behalf of Methanol Mafia Productions. On tap tonight, 305 action from Lanier Speedway, a 3/8 mile oval located in Breslton, Georgia. And many would consider this to be one of the most competitive tracks that these 305s will visit, as the wide surface and mid-banking through the corner allows often 3 and 4 wide action, even as the track slicks off. Let's see what we got out here on the track right now. Looks like currently on the leaderboard, Joey Frakes at the top of the charts with a 12.478 as his fastest time in hot laps. Craig Loudermilch right behind him, 28 thousandths back. And only 4 thousandths behind Craig Loudermilch is Cody DeLong with a 12.510. So reasonably quick times here in hot laps as we have about 4 minutes to go. And let's take just a moment here to see if we can get a hold of any of these drivers. Let's get a hold of Chris Hockley. Chris Hockley did not have the kind of week he was looking for last week and slipped out of the points lead. But Chris, going into a new week, new opportunities, what do you do to kind of reset after a tough week like you had last week?
Just put that behind me. Try not to think about it.
All right. Well, you got plenty of opportunity tonight to try to get things done. Anything you're planning a little bit differently tonight than on a typical week?
Really haven't thought about it. Actually, just gonna go out here and see what happens.
All right. Well, I will turn you loose to get back to hot laps out there. Thanks for having a little chat with me.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Christopher Hockley, driver of the number 14 and early points leader this year, who had a tough week and now is set to try to recover and make his charge back into the top spot in the point standings. And we still got about 3 minutes here, so tell you what, let's go ahead and grab a hold of Chris Myler. And Chris, you got your ears on?
I do.
All right, well, let's see. You haven't had a whole lot of success so far this season, just kind of consistently a top 5 car. Now you're coming into Lanier, which is always a competitive track. A lot of guys are fast here. Anything you change going into a night like tonight?
I'm actually just going to use my basic setup and send it. I'm not going to change anything against this group of guys. I know what I have works, so I'm not going to do anything funky.
All right, well, I will turn you loose to get back to hot laps. Thanks for having to work with me.
Thanks for putting us on.
No problem. That was Chris Myler, driver of the number 53. And if you will bear with me for just one moment here, folks, I got to do a little correction here to my overlay. Thanks for bearing with me there while I made a small correction. And still setting atop those time charts here in hot laps is Joey Frakes with that 12.478. Now that was set very early, so not overly surprised to see that time stand. Let's jump over and take a look at the second session out on the track. Looks like Kendrick Tiller sitting about 6th in hot laps timing. quite a big surprise here is Randy Shreves, who's quite a ways down the list. Usually we would expect him to be toward the top of the timesheets, but you know, not every track is going to benefit every driver, so expect to see him make a charge late in the evening, though, as Randy Shreves is always a strong driver everywhere he goes. Looks like 21 cars set to do battle so far. We expect possibly one or two may happen in sometime around qualifying. But with 10 seconds to go, I just want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors. First off, Odd Brothers Armory Custom Firearms, who has been kind enough to be the title sponsor for the 305 Champions Tour this season. Jessup Logistics, who recently came on board also as a sponsor for the 305 Champions Tour. Detweiler Designs, who is the presenting sponsor for the Most Wanted Racing Association. And this broadcast brought to you by the Methanol Mafia. And with that, we'll be jumping over to qualifying here. Looks like Kendrick Tiller is going to be one of the early cars out here on the track. He's going to dive to the bottom through 1 and 2, going to do the same thing through 3 and 4. Let's see what kind of time he can lay down. Looks like Joey Frake's going to be top of the charts already with a 12.847. Chris Myler right behind with a 13.007. Now Chris Hockley up there with a 12.963. Cody DeLong now knocking Hockley down the board a little bit with that 12.905. It looks like Joey Frakes has completed his laps, and his fastest was the 12.847. Second lap was a 12.943. Cody DeLong currently sitting second. Few guys still to time in. Chris Hockley sitting third. Chris Myler sitting fourth. Zach Lowe in fifth with that 13.008. Hendrick Tiller going to time in sixth quick. Craig Loudermilch up to seventh quick with a 13.015. So track quickly slowing down about a half second or so off the pace between hot laps and qualifying. Randy Shreves now out on the track getting his laps in. It looks like Shreves is going to go 10th quick with a 13.088. So all the way down through 10th position, only separated by just over a tenth and a half. And with 21 cars set to do battle this evening, we will have every car making the A main, so everybody's just going to be vying for position here in heat races. And we do want to apologize for the slight glitch we're having with our overlay right now. It's not displaying the proper event in the top left corner of your screen. Hopefully by next week we'll have that completely sorted out. And with that, heat race number 1 will be moving into staging. And starting on the pole will be the 21 of Joseph Parrott. Outside of him, the 92 of John Gargaz. Row number 2, Randy Shreves in the 56, starting on the inside. And starting fourth will be the 711 of Greg Loudermilch. Row number 3 on the inside, the 53 of Christopher Myler. And outside of him, Joey Frakes in the 12. And Randy Webb will round out the field, starting from the 7th position. 7 cars, 8 laps the distance here at Lanier Speedway. Top 2 cars going into tonight's Trophy Dash. By Joseph Barrett, John Gargas looking for the green flag out of turn number 4.
Green flag, green
His
flag.
truck is off, and Joseph Barrett on that loud pedal. He's going to get the jump down into turn number 1. John Gargas forced to settle into that second spot. Randy Shreves now powering up into third. Looks to the inside. Not able to get it done there on John Gargas. Now Craig Loudermilk seeing the challenge from the inside from Joey Frakes. Frakes with a strong move there through 1 and 2. He's able to pull all the way up into the 4th position. Grabs the bottom once again through 3 and 4, and he's going to move up into 3rd now past Randy Shreves. Now Loudermilk's going to follow him to the bottom. Shreves now Frakes now looking for 2nd. He's on the inside of John Gargas. Give him 2nd position into turn number 3. 5 laps remaining now for Joseph Barrett. Trying to hang on to that lead as Joey Frakes once again challenges to the inside. Give Joey Frakes the lead. They're into turn number 3 and confirm it out of turn number 4. Looking back through the field now. Randy Shreves looking on the bottom. He's got to run to the inside of John Gargas. Don't count out Randy Shreves just yet. He's got 3 laps to go this time by. He may find a way into the dash just yet. Joseph Barrett trying to carry that momentum around the top side as he blinks in and out there from his internet connection. Shreves with the challenge and out of the inside. Gives Shreves 2nd place at the line. 2 laps remaining now. Shreves going to miss the bottom just a little bit. That's going to allow Barrett to challenge around the outside. They're side by side down into 3. Barrett really trying to defend there on the inside and give him 2nd place there at the line. A little contact there from Randy Shreves. Both get away clean, but that's going to give Shreves 2nd position. Barrett now challenging to the inside. Contact between those 2 cars. Both managed to recover, but gives 2nd place to Randy Shreves at the line. Craig Loudermilk's going to bring it home 3rd. Joseph Barrett settles for a 4th there after the contact. And with that, we're going to roll around to heat number 2. And starting on the pole of that will be the number 13 of Joshua Piquel. Outside of him, Bradley Boyer in the 20. Row number 2 will be Greg Detweiler driving the 33. And outside of him will be Brian Funk in the 28. And row number 3 will be Zach Lowe on the inside and Cody DeLong on the outside in the 51. And rounding out the field, Aiden Beerline in the 19. This time by.
Green, green, green.
Going to jump on that loud pedal. It's an easy jump that allows Greg Detweiler to already be challenging to the inside of Brad Boyer. Boyer's going to run the slider line through 1 and 2 and again gains just enough ground to keep Greg Detweiler in that 3rd spot. Now Brian Funk with a strong move around the outside there out of turn 3 and 4. A little bit of contact there, I believe, between Greg Detweiler and I'm not sure who that 2nd car was. Detweiler and Funk side by side off of 3 and 4. Now Boyer and Piquel doing battle for that 1st and 2nd spot. Looking back to the battle between Brian Funk and Greg Detweiler. Funk on the top side, Detweiler works the bottom. Neither driver able to gain a major advantage there through 3 and 4. Now Detweiler with a good, strong move on the bottom. He's going to get third position briefly down the backstretch. And they're still going to be doing battle as we get the 4 laps to go. This time by Josh Piquel beginning to stretch out his lead out about 6/10 now over Brad Boyer. Both running the bottom nice and strong and smooth. Greg Detweiler now settled into that third position. Brian Funk still trying to find a line around the outside. Funk now trying to protect the bottom, gets a little out of shape there. Lines up Zach Lowe just a little bit. And once again, a little contact there between Zach Lowe and I believe that was Cody DeLong. So a very strong heat race here. White flag out for Josh Piquel. And he's going to grab the bottom through 3 and 4. Give heat race number 2 to Josh Piquel. Brad Boyer going to bring it home second. Greg Detweiler third. Brian Funk fourth. Aiden Beerline manages to get up into that 5th spot. Cody DeLong and Zach Lowe round out heat race number 2. And that will bring us around to heat race number 3. Starting on the pole will be Joseph Johnson in the 18. Outside of him, Austin Stern being scored as the number 1. Row number 2 will be Anthony Reisner, and outside of him, Brian Kosak in the 24. Row number 3, Kendrick Tiller, and outside of him, Chris Hockley, who we had a word with earlier. And rounding out heat race number 3 will be Earl Hoon Jr. in the number 10.
Green, green, green.
Joseph Johnson going to grab that loud pedal out of turn number 4. And Austin Stern kind of slow on the start there. That's going to allow a challenge already from Anthony Reisner working the inside. And what did I tell you earlier, race fans? This place is notorious for 3 and 4 wide action. As you saw there with Chris Hockley, Kendrick Tiller, and Brian Kosak, 3 wide off of turn number 4. Now they're 3 wide down the backstretch. As Kendrick Tiller tries to work the inside, 3 wide off of 4 once again. Give Reisner second place briefly there, but Kendrick Tiller challenging to the inside still. Now we got contact between Tiller. I believe that was Joseph Johnson. Both were able to get away without wiping out, but not the way they were hoping for that heat race to go. And we'll take a look back up front as Austin Stern tries to set sail around the top side. And Reisner begins to reel him in. Now Chris Hockley working the inside, still not able to get it done as Brian Kosak powers around the outside off of turn number 2. Hockley with a better run that time through 3 and 4, manages to pull back up alongside Kosak. Once again, back up front, Austin Stern trying to hang on to his lead. 2 laps to go, this time by. Reisner still trying to reel him in. Running a slight slider line into 1 and 2. Austin Stern taking the white flag this time by. Reisner with the slider once again, not able to get it done. Chris Hockley once again challenges on the inside of Brian Kosak. They're side by side into 3 and 4. Hockley with the slider. In third place to Chris Hockley. Austin Stern going to pick up heat race number 3. Anthony Reisner finishes second, Hockley third, and Brian Kosak fourth. And with that, we will have 6 cars in a 6-lap dash here during our warm-up. And while we have a moment here waiting on the redraw for the dash drivers, I want to take a moment once again and thank our sponsors. Odd Brothers Armory Custom Firearms out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Jessup Logistics out of the Indianapolis area. Detweiler Designs, your source for iRacing wraps on sprint cars. And of course, Methanol Mafia Productions bringing you this broadcast this evening. Looks like dash cars are starting to roll out onto the track. And here in just a moment, we'll have your lineup for the start of the dash. By drivers receiving P1 to go. Looks like on the pole, Joey Brakes outside of him. Randy Shreves. Second row, Brad Boyer and Josh McKell. Third row is Austin Stern and Anthony Reisner. Joey Brakes sets a fairly quick pace through turn 3 and 4. He's going to jump on the loud pedal out of turn 4 and gets a great jump on Randy Shreves. Brad Boyer able to follow him through. But look at the charge already from Austin Stern working around the bottom. Gets a little out of shape there in 3 and 4 and loses all the ground he had already picked up. Joey Frakes sets sail though. Now Randy Shreves is going to work around Brad Boyer. Make his way back into that second position. While Joey Frakes is liking what he's seeing. As long as Brad Boyer and Randy Shreves do battle, he has a chance to escape here in this dash. Now Randy Shreves with a strong move through the middle of the track. He's going to gain quite a bit of ground there on Joey Frakes. Question is, does he have time? The laps tick away quick here on this little 3/8 mile track. Frakes all the way up against the wall while Shreves works through the middle. Nose to tail as Brad Boyer continues to work the bottom side of the track, a little sideways there on the entry to 1, but able to carry the speed on exit. Anthony Reisner currently running 4th. Now Randy Shreves has caught up to Joey Frakes, but not enough time to get the pass done, so Randy Shreves will be starting 2nd. Joey Frakes will be starting on the pole. Brad Boyer starting 3rd, Anthony Reisner 4th. just a moment here to get a word with our dash winner, Joey Frakes. That was a pretty good run you had out there in the dash. Seemed like, at least until the last couple laps, nobody really had anything for you. Then Randy Shreve seemed to be reeling you in there at the very end. Any changes you're looking for going into the A main, knowing what you saw out there?
Yeah, just looking at the times in that dash, I just need more speed out of the car. I mean, we weren't running at great a time, so.
Possible gear change, wing position change, or trying to keep that a secret from the competition?
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Well, I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
That was Joey Frakes, driver of the Butt Snorkeler number 12. Driver we haven't heard a lot from so far this season, Greg Detweiler, driver of the Design Metal Art number 33. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, another day. Just having a good time. How about yourself?
Oh, just doing about the same thing. Had a pretty good view up here of your heat race. Not a whole lot of passing going on, but seemed to have the bottom of the track rolling pretty well. Expecting? Go ahead.
Wasn't doing too bad. Had a pretty bad push in it and coming out of 4, but hey, held on for 3rd. I'll take it.
All right, so should have a pretty strong starting spot here in the A main. Any major changes you're expecting to make to the car, or just gonna go out and see what happens?
Hey, put fuel in it and hang on.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to it.
Appreciate it.
That was Greg Detweiler, driver of the number 33, sponsored by Design Metal Art. Top of the announcer's booth up here. Randy Shreve still the fastest car during warm-up with a 13.291 set sometime during the dash. The track slowing down very rapidly as his last time was a 13.754. So likely to see a very different track here in the feature. But we have 21 cars, 30 laps the distance, 31 on the board as we give the drivers 1 lap to ensure position and clear any black flags. Let's jump on over to the 4th row, starting on the inside, Craig Loudermilch in the 711. Outside of him, Greg Detweiler in the 33. 5th row on the inside, Chris Hockley driving that 14, scored as the number 5 this evening. And outside of him, Joseph Parrott in the 21. Row number 6 on the inside, Brian Funk, driver of the number 28, and outside of him, Brian Kosak in the 24. Row number 7 on the inside, John Gargaz, driver of the 92, and the number 19 of Aiden Beerline. Row number 8 on the inside will be the 37 of Kendrick Tiller, outside of him, Chris Myler in the 53. Row number 9 on the inside will be the 51 of Cody DeLong, and outside of him, Earl Hoon Jr. Row number 10, Randy Webb in the 14, and outside of him, Zach Lowe in the 4. And rounding out the field will be the 18 of Joseph Johnson. As follows, starting on the pole, Joey Frakes. Outside of him, Randy Shreves in the 56. Inside, 2nd row, will be Brad Boyer in the 20. And outside of him, Anthony Reisner in the 22. And row number 3 on the inside will be Joshua Piquel. And outside of him, Austin Stern.
Green flag, green flag.
And drivers now receiving the 1 to go, nose to tail. And side by side, only going green out of turn number 4. what do you say we get dirty for 30 here with the Most Wanted Racing Association out of turn number 4 at Lanier Speedway. Joey Frake's going to go up to the top side. Brad Boyer already with a strong move to the inside to move up into his second position. Now Josh Piquel working the bottom side of the track, but I do hear a little bit of contact back through the field. Caution flag coming out now. We'll have to see how these drivers line up, as there was a lot of side-by-side action back through the pack there. Looks like Joseph Barrett may have been involved in that accident. As you see him trying to get the car straightened out and make a run into the pits for some repairs on that vehicle. John Gargaz also making that trip down pit road. Looks like caution lights are out on the speedway. We expect to go green out of turn number 4.
Green flag, green
Pick up the pace
flag.
there in turn number 3 just a little bit. That's just good enough to get a good jump on Brad Boyer. And look at how close these guys are already up right on that cushion. Brad Boyer runs second, Randy Shreves third. Shreve still works the middle of the track. We saw that work for him really well in the dash as he was able to run down Joey Frakes. Now he gets up into second place. Whoa, contact! Randy Shreves gets turned around. Whoa! Nice save from Randy Shreves there. Brad Boyer got into the tail tank just a little bit, nearly turned him around.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And yellow flag going to come out once again. 28 laps remaining. Tough break there for Brad Boyer and Randy Shreves. Shreves had a strong move there up turn number 4, was able to get up in front of Boyer. And then just Boyer made a little bit of contact with the tail tank of Shreves. And those two cars were tangled for a good portion of turn 1 and 2. Finally able to gain separation, but they lost quite a bit of positions by the time they were able to get those cars separated. Looks like Shreves and Boyer are going to be the beneficiary of a caution back in the field as they are able to regain their positions at second and third. Joey Frake's going to pick up the throttle out of turn 4, dives across the track. Gets a huge jump over Randy Shreves down into turn 1. All those drivers going to go up top with the exception of Josh Piquel, who works the bottom. Piquel and Boyer now side by side down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. Boyer on the top side. Give Piquel third place out of turn 4. And Piquel definitely making the bottom of this track work in his favor. Meanwhile, Shreves is trying to run down Joey Frakes, who has absolutely set sail here in the feature. Whatever changes he made to that car, he has made an absolute rocket ship at the beginning of the A feature. Now Piquel working the inside, starting to run down Randy Shreves. They're side by side off of turn 2, give the advantage to Shreves down the backstretch. Shreves works the middle through 3 and 4. Piquel on the bottom. Not as good of a corner that time out of turn 3. Let's take a look back through the field as a whole cluster of cars here are 3 wide. That's Craig Detweiler, Chris Hockley, and Kendrick Tiller. side by side almost all the way through 3 and 4. 3 wide off the corner. And look at Tiller work the middle of that track. Hockley all the way up against the cushion, and Greg Detweiler really holding the bottom of the track nice and smooth. Let's jump back up toward the front now as Randy Shreve sees the challenge now from Josh Piquel on the inside. Piquel a little out of shape there through 1 and 2. Looked like he was fighting a push. 20 laps remaining now for Joey Frakes, who's chosen to move down to the bottom. He's actually maybe found a little bit of rubber out on the track.
Yellow flag is out.
And caution flag gonna fly now. Unsure who was involved in that wreck. Like that caution flag coming out is not what you want to see. Joey Frakes had a fairly clear track out in front of him and a little over a second lead over second place Randy Shreves. And now it's all for nothing as he's going to have to look for another good restart to extend that lead once again. Caution lights are out on the speedway. We'll be going green out of turn number 4. As you look across that track, there's a lot of rubber laid down on this track already. The question is going to be who can run the slick line the best. As we get into the closing 10 laps or so, this track will be fence to fence rubber slick most likely.
Green flag, green flag.
Joey Frakes jumps on the loud pedal out of turn number 4. Once again, manages to get a good jump on Randy Shreves, working the bottom. Now Josh Piquel with the challenge on Shreves. Give him second place down the backstretch. Shreves with a challenge to the inside. Piquel not able to open up the corner as much as he wanted to. So they're side by side down the front stretch. Piquel on the inside. Craig Loudermilch now trying to stick his nose into the action in that 4th spot. Again, let's take a look back in the field as Greg Detweiler, Chris Hockley, and Kendrick Tiller continue to do battle. Back in about 6th through 9th position. Brad Boyer hanging on to 7th there. And as you see, a lot of these guys are starting to use the banking as they work through the corner, trying to help the car turn and help keep the power down. 15 laps remain as Joey Frakes has once again set sail. Josh Piquel now working the bottom of this track. Found his way around Randy Shreves. And Shreves now is seeing a challenge from Austin Stern on the inside. Now Kendrick Tiller working the middle of the track is challenging the outside of Craig Loudermilch and give him 5th place. Looks like a lot of these guys are following the lead of Joey Frakes, who's just working the rubber on the bottom side of the track. Now Randy Shreves with a good run to the outside of Josh Piquel. He's got him kind of pinned to the bottom of the track. It seems to be working pretty well. Piquel still hanging on to second place for dear life. Now Austin Stern going to stick his nose in between those 3. They're 3 wide down the front stretch. A little contact there, but everybody clean.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And caution flag going to come out once again. 12 laps to go for Joey Frakes, and once again he'll have to open that lead back up. I believe the last we had that lead was about 1.3 seconds, so don't know what Joey Frakes did to that car. Might have dropped a 360 in it with the way he's leaving these guys behind on the starts. Currently running 3rd, hanging on to that podium position as we get ready to go back to green out of turn 4. going to stay with him through this next start, try to get an idea of how he's going to begin to challenge Randy Shreves in this last 12 laps.
Green
With
flag,
a
green
slow
flag.
pace all the way into turn 4. Once again, gets a great jump on Randy Shreves. I do believe Shreves has a fairly tall gear in that car, as everyone is able to suck up on the back bumper of his car on these restarts. But he's protecting the inside very well, as Piquel is not able to do anything. 3 wide off of turn number 4. Austin Stern around the outside. Does he have enough momentum there? Austin Stern moving up into second now around the outside of Randy Shreves. Shreves trying to hang on to second place around the inside. Not able to get it done. And look at Kendrick Tiller now work to the outside of Josh Piquel. And look at how close these cars are clustered there on the bottom of the track. We're going to go a little bit lower angle here for a couple laps, just to give you an idea of how close these guys are racing right up against each other.
Yellow, yellow,
Three
yellow.
wide action once again around the track. 8 laps remaining. Caution flag going to fly once again. I do believe another car just kind of looped it. Austin Stern working his way from the 3rd row is on the tail tank of Joey Frakes, and this is where you want to be going into that last 10 laps. You want to be able to challenge the leader early on, try to force a mistake. Next time out of turn 4, we'll be back to green flag action for the remaining 8 laps, hopefully. Joey Frakes trying to go flag to flag tonight.
Green,
Jump
green,
on
green.
the loud pedal out of turn 4, not able to get quite the jump he was getting over Randy Shreves, having to deal with Austin Stern now. And Stern's going to work the middle of the track. He manages to stay very close to Joey Frakes here. Stern using the banking to try to carry momentum through the corner, right in the middle of that rubber slick. Now Austin Stern with a strong run. 6 laps remaining for Joey Frakes, trying to hang on and be the first 2-time winner here with the Most Wanted Racing Association. Austin Stern doing his best to try to not let that happen. They're nearly side by side, 5 laps remaining. Joey Frakes works the bottom of the track. Austin Stern once again carries through the banking, but look at that turn from Joey Frakes. Very clean exit. He's able to pull back out in front. Now Joey Frakes has found a line, and he's going to try to work it to perfection. As Randy Shreves now begins to reel in Austin Stern lap by lap. Little wave of the green flag, 2 laps remaining for Joey Frakes here at Lanier Speedway. Austin Stern now back up on the cushion, trying to maintain 2nd place over Randy Shreves. And the whole time they're managing to close the gap just a little bit on Joey Frakes. White flag out for Joey Frakes this time by. Austin Stern still hanging on to 2nd, Randy Shreves 3rd. Give it up for Joey Frakes, your first 2-time winner with the Most Wanted Racing Association, picking up the flag-to-flag victory here. Austin Stern bringing home a solid 2nd place. Randy Shreves with a solid 3rd place. And Kendrick Tiller from fairly deep in the field all the way up into 4th. Josh Piquel finishing 5th. Craig Loudermilch 6th. Brad Boyer bringing home 7th. 8th place to Greg Detweiler. So very, very good racing this evening. And once again, Lanier Speedway does not disappoint with 3 wide action nearly the entire night, back through the field. Lots of opportunity for passing. And all things considered, some very, very clean racing action this evening. Bringing home third place tonight, driver of the United Dirt Sim Series, number 56. That is Randy Shreves. Randy, you just ran one hell of a race out there, and you were not afraid to explore that track. Walk me through, is there anything you could have done different to possibly get up there and challenge for that win?
Not really. There at the end, my car was just real loose. I was just hanging on for dear life. That was definitely a fun race. Everybody up front put up a great race. It was the most fun race I've had for a while.
Well, that's always good to hear. You know, I gotta say, it seemed like you had a fairly tall gear in that car. Were you expecting the cushion to hang on a little bit longer than it did, possibly stay competitive late?
I actually was hoping the top was gonna stay there, but it didn't. But either way, it was still fun. It was fast, awesome racing.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Couldn't ask for much more.
That top 5 put on one hell of a show tonight. It was a blast to broadcast it. I'm sure there's a few people you'd like to thank before we turn you loose.
Definitely want to thank you guys for putting this thing on. Sofa King Fast Sim Sports, Redline Race Designs, Jessup Logistics, Speed World Hobbies, and Goyette Trucking.
All right. Well, congratulations on the third place tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week for Eldora Speedway.
Oh, for sure. We'll see you then.
All right.
Thanks.
That was Randy Shreves, driver of the number 56, bringing home third place tonight. And with a very impressive drive there in the late laps, Austin Stern bringing home second place. Man, you put on a heck of a show out there, and there for a while I thought you had Joey for sure.
Yeah, he was really good in the bottom, and then I found that it was weird because there's nothing up top, but you could drive kind of through the middle, and that's where I passed like Craig. I passed Craig, Piquel down there. I got around Shreve somehow, and for a while there, I think it was me, Piquel, and Shreves. We were all like neck and neck there. We were like 3 wide, in and out of the corners and down the front stretch, and I didn't want to mess any of them up. And we had a really good race there, but I was finally able to get around them because they both went down low, I believe, and then somehow, some way, I found the middle.
Hey, some of the time this track will surprise you with a line that comes in you never expected to find, and it seems like that's what happened to you tonight. Now, going into that last green flag stint, were you thinking anything special for working around Frakes, or just kind of grab the middle again and hope for the best?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing there. Him and I were actually talking about that before we came in here, or before I came in here. I was keeping up with him. I feel like the only way that I was going to pass him was through the corners and not down the front stretch or any of the stretches, but I could kind of peek my nose in there, but I didn't want to mess him or I up, so I didn't want to pinch him or anything like that. And then I think it was like 3 or 4 laps ago, I tried to go high. I tried to get a little wound up there so then I could, like, not diamond it, but I could try to get some more RPMs coming off the top and going into the corner, and that did not work whatsoever. I thought she was going to pass me on the bottom. There was nothing up top, but I think that was kind of my mindset, was just kind of keep up with everybody and then start making moves kind of like halfway through the race, and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, some of the time that being patient out there and just waiting for the race to come to you pays off, and it definitely did for you tonight, bringing home a strong second place. Before I turn you loose, anybody you'd like to thank?
Everybody at LGR, Culture West, he does a lot for us. Anthony Reisner, Dante Brown, Quan Brown, Trey Sullivan, and Blaine Brink. We've been practicing these 305s a lot, and one day one of us will get these most wanted guys.
All right, well, will we see you back here next week for Eldora Speedway?
Oh, you'll see me at Eldora.
All right, well, congratulations on the second tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, brother. Thank you.
And going green to checkered, and absolutely dominating this evening in that number 12 butt snorkeler car, Joey Frakes picking up the win and becoming the first person to go 2 wins with the Most Wanted Racing Association. Joey, how are you feeling after that race?
Pretty good. That was a pretty fun race.
It seemed like once you found the bottom there in the closing laps, nobody really had anything for you. Walk me through, what finally sent you down there to the bottom, because you'd been dominant around the top most of the evening up until that last 12 laps or so.
Ultimately, the thing that set me down to the bottom, I looked over at my little fuel gauge thing that I have, and it said I was going to have 0 laps at the end if I kept running the top. So I was just trying to go down there to save fuel, and just by looking at the guys behind me, it seemed like it was a little bit faster.
Yeah, it seemed like once you found the bottom, that's when you really started opening up a lead very quickly. Now, there on that last restart, Austin Stern had moved into the second position, and he was flat out moving. Did you feel a little bit of panic suddenly seeing a different car behind you on that last restart?
Oh yeah, most definitely, because, he was in the middle, and even if I wanted to block it, there was no way I was going to. My car wasn't tight enough for anything, so it was going to be tough. If he got a run on me, he would have gotten around me easily.
Well, you managed to hold him off, and like I said earlier, you become the first person to score that second win that through the first 3 weeks proved to be elusive.
Have I won one before?
I thought you had already, unless I'm
I don't
mistaken.
think so. Because I know my buddy Dominic won one.
Yeah, you're right. My
Yeah.
mistake. So, yeah. I'm just full of bad information this evening, I guess.
Oh, that's okay.
So, yeah, another first-time winner then. So that's 4 weeks now, and no one has managed to repeat. And, you dominated green to checkered, so hell of a race you ran out there. So I guess the changes paid off. Did you make quite a few of them there for the feature?
Honestly, I did. And then I was about to hit that grid button, and I just changed it all back and said, screw it. I'm going back to what I did and just changed the gear. I couldn't second guess myself.
All right, well, it paid off in the end. You, I guess you technically went with your third guess then?
Sure, we'll count that.
All right, well, before I turn you loose, anybody you'd like to thank this evening?
Yeah, just all the guys over at MWM for helping me out getting faster every week. Detweiler Designs for the awesome wrap. You guys for putting on this league. Jake for being an admin. Butt Snorkeler, Design, Metal Arts, and just everything that you guys do for us.
All right, well, we appreciate you showing up and racing week to week. I assume we'll see you at Eldora next week?
Yep.
All right, well, congratulations on the win tonight. That first win. My mistake. And we'll see you back here for the Big E next week.
Yep, thank you.
That was Joey Frakes, and once again, I managed to screw up the information. That was his first win with the Most Wanted Racing Association, so 4 weeks in, we're still chasing that second-time winner. I believe I was actually looking at our record book for quick times, which he was on that record book already for that. But another night of racing coming to a close here with the Most Wanted Racing Association. And once again, some very, very exciting, close racing through the evening. And with that, we'll go ahead and close things out this evening. And for all of us here at the Most Wanted Racing Association and the Methanol Mafia Productions, we appreciate you joining us this evening, and we'll see you next week from the Big E in Rossburg, Ohio, where the Most Wanted Racing Association 305 Champions Tour will come to you live same time on Tuesday night.